don't.
No, Cenk, I think that's not the point Destiny's trying to make. What he's trying to say is, why, if Israel really were just trying to kill Palestinians and they were just about collective punishment, couldn't they kill so many more people?
Yeah. So that's an easy talking point. Yes, there's a difference between genocide and Holocaust. If anyone says Israel's trying to do a Holocaust where they're trying to kill every single Palestinian, that is obviously not true, right? If they wanted to kill every Palestinian, they could, obviously, right? So then the question is, yes, but are they targeting Palestinians, and which is the definition of genocide, and killing them in a disproportionate way? Yes, obviously.
Yeah, you said the whole point of what they're doing is trying to kill Palestinians.
No. Okay, so let's be super clear. So do they have an ostensible objective? I mean, they never go in the tunnels. They barely ever kill Hamas. They never rescue
hostages. What do you mean barely kill Hamas? 20 to 30% of that so far been attributed to Hamas fighters. How is that barely killing them?
Yeah, they've never shown any, anyway, I don't want to.
They've never shown any what? They've shown tons of video footage of tons of different things, but okay.
Okay, all right. So, but even by their own admission, they kill 2/3 civilians. And that is the best case scenario.
Which isn't bad given that it's highly urban warfare. Those ratios are about what you'd expect them to be.
Hamas.
What?
You're good with Hamas, because Hamas killed 2/3 civilians.
Hamas wants to kill civilians.
No, but what do you mean? They killed troops and they killed civilians at the same exact rate as the IDF.
I don't think it was. I think it was like 5-1 or more. Wasn't it 1,200 people killed and 200 were military people?
Some odd civilians and 300 some odd soldiers. So
wait, how many civilians did you say?
It's terrible terrorism. When Israel does it, they had to. They had to
Wait,
murder.
Cenk, can you not make the distinction of Hamas going into Israel on October 7th, just trying to kill civilians for the sake of it, not any other mission? But then what Israel are doing? What?
Look, I hated that they killed civilians.
Yeah.
But they also killed troops. So it's like,
no, I understand that, but do you not see the difference in alternative motive between what the IDF are doing and what Hamas are doing?
No, first of all, I don't let me be clear. I don't believe the right-wing government of Israel when they say we're the world's worst army, even though we have every capability in the world, we just keep missing. We just accidentally murdered 25 times the number of civilians as Hamas, the terrorist group Hamas. But oops, did I do it again? So what are they trying to do? They're trying to have plausible deniability for vengeance. So their plausible deniabilities, no, I sent guys there. I tried to get Hamas. I tried to get the hostages a little bit. But as I was doing that, I murdered, and I dug up their cemeteries, and I took their ancestors, and I rubbed it in their face. Look at me spitting on your ancestors. And then I bombed their hospitals. Then I bombed their schools. Then I bombed 85% of the buildings. And then now a quarter of them, 500,000 people, are starving. 80% of the world's people that are starving in the world are in Gaza right now. But if you think that's all an accident, they didn't mean to do any of that.
80% of the starving people in the world are in Gaza right now?
That's right, according to the United Nations. I know you're going to say, the United Nations is anti-Semitic. We don't count it. Nothing
Considering
counts.
the population of Yemen is like 35 million people, and there are only 2 million people in Gaza, and I'm like half the population of Yemen. That's just one country. That number is insane. There's no way that number is true.
Yes, I mean, it doesn't matter. You're good with it. You're good with the deaths. You're good with the starvation. They haven't accomplished their objective yet. Their objective is vengeance and terrorism.
Then they're doing a really bad job of it. Why haven't they killed 400,000 Palestinians?
Because they wouldn't be able to get away with it.
Okay, so they're trying to kill indiscriminately, but only as much as they can get away from. But they've also managed to kill 25% of the civilians are militants and...
So your big defense of this genocide is, well, we didn't kill them all.
There is no genocide.
We didn't kill them all.
Yeah.
I mean, we butchered 27,000 people. But we didn't kill them all. By the way, that's exactly what the Serbs could have said in Srebrenica. By the way, the Turks could have said it about the Armenian genocide. They attacked us and hid behind their human shields.
So 2 million of them needed to be death marched?
We had a right to defend ourselves.
Okay.
We had a right to defend ourselves. And we didn't kill all the Armenians. And yet you call it a genocide. You see how absurd that sounds when it's about Turks. But when it's about Israelis, nope, regular rules do not apply. They can kill anyone they like, and they could just keep on butchering them to the end of time. I gave you a real peace plan that gets Israel's security. If security for Israel is not good enough, then you're admitting you just want vengeance.
Wait, so just before, I know we need to close up, so we've been pushing on Cenk the whole time. So I want to ask you, Destiny, a question on your proposed plan. At what point would you say this is the IDF have actually accomplished their plan to eliminate Hamas? Or how many? I know I asked you this in the last debate, but it's a really good question.
I unfortunately, I'm not.
Is it worth it?
Yeah, I don't know what the actual like military decision is when like the job is finished. I don't know if that includes like a certain amount of their leadership killed. I don't know if that includes like a loss of confidence from the Palestinian people, or if it includes like a certain percentage of fighters, or if it includes a certain percentage of whatever. I don't know how they do that military distinction.
Is there a certain mark of death that you're okay with, or it's just really whatever it takes to kill out?
I mean, like, what I would be looking for basically is to make sure that the ratio of like basically that the ratio of militants killed to civilians killed still seems to be falling within where you would expect it to be for combat like this, given the number of militants and the number of civilians. I don't think there's anything right now that's crazy out of whack. Because if it's about like 1 militant killed for every 3 civilians, given how highly urbanized the conflict is, given how much Hamas hides among like the civilian population and operates out of the civilian population. So as long as the warfare continues to move in that direction, and hopefully there's no like major famine or anything that occurs in Gaza the same way that there has been in Yemen, then I mean I would probably continue to support the military operation, because with Hamas in the Gaza Strip, I mean, what is this, our 6th Hamas-Israeli war? Like, it's not going to stop. That's never going to stop. Hamas has been launching rockets constantly. We can use all the morally loaded, dogged or like bad terms we want about Israel being murderers or killing all Palestinians or blah, 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 blah. But the reality is this is what Hamas thinks about Israeli citizens. That's why they launch rockets every single day and have been for 15 years. It's why they celebrated October 7th. It's why their spokespeople say they want to do more and more October 7th. It's why they are committed to aligning with people that also want Israel destroyed, right? If you look at who are the Palestinian Hamas partners, it's the Houthis. It's Hezbollah, it's Iran. These people don't have moderate positions towards Israel, and they surely don't support 2-state solutions among themselves either, any more than they support a North and South division in Yemen. So, yeah, I mean, like, right now, I don't know how it's going to happen or what has to happen, if another Arab state has to take the reins on it, but something has to happen to slow down or calm down the feelings of the Palestinian people that are pushing them to want to fight so much. And Cenk's idea of having a boss be the negotiator, historically it doesn't work. You can't just pull a random person from Mexico and say, you are now the Mexican negotiator, and we're going to do trade agreements, and we're going to do state agreements, and we're going to do border. That just doesn't work. It can't work. Historically, it hasn't even worked in this region.
You just don't want it.
No, you don't want peace. You're asking for an impossibility, which is for Israel to say, okay, you guys that have all been trying to kill us for however many years, we're just going to go ahead and hand the reins over to you to completely govern a state, and hope that despite the fact that you're being supported by terrorist groups that are shipping weapons to you and want to see our state destroyed, we hope that you're going to just become peaceful over time for reasons, even though we're negotiating a peace agreement with somebody that even was popularly elected and still is seen as a tool of the Israeli government, but maybe with only 10% support, if we negotiate something with him, you guys will all accept it. That's just unrealistic. It would never happen.
I can't take it. I'm going to say something potentially offensive, but
okay.
That is just a dumb talking point. Every battle is between 2 sides who hate each other. If the Turks said to the Armenians, well, you guys still hate us, and they did. They hated us. You know why they hated us? Because we occupied them. Because we were an empire, and we did not give them rights. And we said, we are in charge, and you are not, and you should know your role. Turks rule over Armenians. If we said, I can't believe they hate us. I can't believe they attacked us. We have every right to murder them to no end. That would be absurd, and that's called a genocide. And the fact that the Armenians hated us does not justify anything. You do a peace deal with the people who hate you. You don't do it with the people who love you. So this lunatic standard of, I will not do a peace deal until the Palestinians love me, is just total bullshit.
It's not about them loving you. It's about you have the way that you do peace deals is by eliminating their will to fight. That is how a peace deal is done.
God.
If they still want to fight,
murder Destiny?
How many died in World War II? How many Soviet citizens were killed by the Germans? How many Nazis were killed? How many German citizens were killed in the Dresden bombings? How many Japanese people were killed in the Tokyo bombings? No, you're talking about.
That's a fact, and you just said it.
Okay.
I want to murder no Israelis. Never.
None.
Ever,
okay.
ever.
So in World War II, in World War II, you would have negotiated peace with Nazi Germany. Is that what you would have wanted to do?
It's total apples and oranges.
Okay, well, compare it. No, hold on. We hate each other. You don't negotiate peace with people you like. You negotiate peace with people you hate. So for Nazi Germany. So we really hate the Nazis. Would you negotiate peace with Nazi Germany in World War II instead of going to war?
So Destiny, this is your favorite stupid analysis.
I'm gonna ask the exact. Call it down. It's okay. Ask it, Tom. Go ahead, do it.
Okay,
I'm gonna ask the same question when you finish your rant, though. I'm gonna ask you: would you negotiate peace with Nazi Germany? Go ahead.
So, the Nazis were in the middle. Of murdering 6 million Jews and 13 million innocent people, let alone the millions that died in the war. So, if in the middle of their murder somebody said, "Hey, let's give them what they want," that would have been dumb.
So, like right after October 7th?
Hold on, you asked the question and I'm answering it. But when the Germans stopped fighting back, okay, and you could say, "Hey, I want Hamas," and the difference between Hamas and the Nazis is that the Nazis had a massive army. So when they fought, they killed thousands and thousands and eventually millions, right? The Palestinians have peace shooters. So they're like, "Oh, well, technically one came over. Okay, nobody got hurt and we have Iron Dome, but good enough. I want to just keep going." No, you get to peace at some point. But you don't do it while the Nazis are butchering people. That is a legitimate war to protect those people.
So you have to.
But now, October 7th happened months and months ago. And every day you've been killing thousands and thousands or hundreds and hundreds of Palestinians. And you say, "Not enough, not enough, not enough, not enough. Kill more, kill more, kill more." You're the guilty one.
So once Normandy happens and the Germans are like, "Okay, shoot, we don't know if these forces are going to push on us. Maybe it's like
you're comparing Palestinians to Germans. The Palestinians have no power. The Nazis had tremendous power.
It doesn't matter. I'm talking about negotiating peace with an enemy. Would you negotiate peace with Nazi Germany rather than going to war and killing potentially millions more?
Destiny, do you know that?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Their leader killed himself. We bombed their cities into non-existence. We completely destroyed half the country. That's not even counting what we did to Japan. We destroyed the enemy's will to fight. They surrendered unconditionally.
You know what we did after that, Destiny?
After the unconditional surrender, yes. After.
Hold on, let me explain.
After.
You know what we did after that? We did, as a world, we did the concept of war crimes so that both sides would stop murdering their civilians so grossly. The Nazis murdered all those civilians, and let's be honest, America murdered tons of civilians in Japan and in Germany, etc. And at the end of that, we looked around and said, "That was awful. We don't want that to happen again. We're going to come up with the concept of war crimes and make sure that you're targeting troops and not civilians." Now, after all the progress we made on that, after we defeated the Nazis, after we set up a decent, at best, just system, now you guys go, "Yeah, war crimes, who cares? Let's go back to the bad old days where we murder each other's civilians to no end. But by the way, I'm not a terrorist. I want to kill all their civilians, but I'm not a terrorist."
Nobody is talking about killing all their civilians. Also, I'm pretty sure Geneva Conventions. This was after Geneva Convention. Geneva Convention was after World War I, not World War II. Okay, so we already had laws governing conflict, and we still killed a whole lot of civilians. Also, secondly, again, my point stands. How did we achieve peace after World War II? It was with a lot of cooperation, after massive invasions, after destroying the enemy's will to fight, and then followed by decades and decades of occupation.
So,
wait, so
Cenk, one last
before,
example to address that.
Cenk,
The Mongols came into Baghdad and killed 800,000 people back in the 1200s. Killed every man, woman, and child. And they could have just said, "Well, look, man, I can't negotiate with these guys until I'm done, until I feel safe. So I killed every man, woman, and child. Now I feel safe. Now we can negotiate." I would much prefer to negotiate in the middle if you have someone that is not the equivalent of Nazis who are in the middle of killing 13 million innocent people. Sorry,
yes, no, so I was just looking at the time and you're running around 10 minutes late. Do you want to finish now, or do you want to just finish the argument?
I know you wanted to say something about the Houthis, so go ahead and ask about the Houthis.